exercise, we're going to be working on getting the foot to move into full pronation and full supination. So basically getting the foot to have its arch drop down and really get the heel bone to sink back, and then supination, which is where the arch pops up and the heel bone kind of tucks under in the foot. All right, so this exercise is great for every foot type because every foot type needs to move through these two motions. So if you're somebody with flat feet, this is going to be great because it's going to work on teaching you to more supinate. And if you have more of a supinated foot, it's going to really help to get that arch moving. So what you're going to need is just space to move here, no equipment. You're going to be in a split stance position, and I'm just going to show you the global motion here first, and then we're going to slowly start to add layers onto this exercise. That way we can really start to feel the movement. So first off, we really just want to be in a narrow stance. You don't want to be too wide, which is what so many people try to do. But if we stay more narrow, we're going to be able to shift our weight easier onto one foot and all the way back onto the other. All right. The next thing is you want to be loosey-goosey. So often people's arms are like in a tight motion, their fingers are doing weird things, but this kind of tension is also going to cause the foot to grip. And if the foot grips, we're not going to get any of this motion we're going for with this exercise. So globally, all this is going to be is the knee moving forward over the toes on this front leg, and then coming all the way back. Now that probably looks pretty simple, but there's going to be a lot of layers onto this. So first, just get the movement down. Slowly let the knee go forward over the toes and come on back. All right, just do a couple of those for me. Just feeling kind of just how this is going to go. Don't worry too much about what your pelvis is doing. Arms, almost pretend like you just have a body from the knee down. All right. Going forward and coming back. Don't worry about the back leg as well. It's okay if the heel starts to come up. It's okay if the heel stays down. The main thing is we're just not pushing with this leg. It's all motion coming from this front leg. All right, next thing is we want to try to get the same motion without any gripping of the toes. So if you found that your toes were wanting to grip the ground or press into the ground as your knee came forward, we're going to want to try to eliminate that. So the minute you feel that start, I want you to stop and slowly go back to the starting position. Now, if you're here in this position at a negative shin angle, okay, all that means is the shin is behind your heel. It's kind of angled backwards. A positive shin angle is when the knee is going forwards, all right? So when you're in this kind of negative shin angle, if you would lift up all your toes and then put them back down, just do that a couple times. I want you to feel how light the toes are on the ground once they are back down, all right? This is how light they should be even when the knee is coming forward. So it just kind of gives you a little starting point. So how light those toes are now is how light they're going to feel even as the knee goes forward. And as the knee starts to travel, if they get any heavier than what they did when you were kind of in that back position, you're going to just go back. But what you'll notice is if you really keep those toes light, you're automatically going to start putting more weight through your heel, which is what we want, all right? And slowly come up. You can see if I would grip my toes, my arch is going to almost pop up, and now as I go forward, that arch is going to stay up. So that's why toe gripping is a no-go here, all right? So start with that. That might be the only spot we go to right now. And then once you get that down, you'll come back to the video and go to this next phase we're going to go into, all right? So knee going forward, toes not gripping, weight through the heel. Now, the next thing I want to show you, and I'm going to go from this angle, is we actually start to get a rotation through the shin as we do this exercise. So just to show you, when we're kind of coming all the way back, and I want to make sure you're coming all the way back because this is what really helps to supinate the foot. As the knee extends, the shin actually rotates outward just a little bit, all right? And when that happens, it causes more weight through the outside back corner of the heel, and it also gets the arch to pop up, all right? So people with more of those flat feet, we really want to focus on this part of the drill for sure because this is what's getting that foot to resupinate, all right? Now, as I slowly start to go forward, keeping those toes light, I'm going to have you start to just let that knee, right about once it's over the ankle, start to just drift towards the big toe. Now, if you do that, that's naturally going to let that shin start to rotate inward, all right? So as the knee bends, the shin rotates inward. As the knee starts to straighten and come back, that shin rotates out. So we need that rotation for proper knee mechanics, but also ankle mechanics, all right? What I'll see in the clinic though, a lot of people just go right from here to trying to push their knee in because they're trying to get that arch to collapse, and we don't want that, all right? We want to slowly let that transition happen from one point to the other, not just go from 0 to 100 to the next one, all right? Don't even try to push your arch down on this. If we're doing the motion right, it should just naturally happen. So once we're here, we're just gonna slowly let that knee just guide towards the big toe, and toes are always staying light. If the toes are light, that heel is definitely heavy, and that's what we want, all right? As I'm doing this, I can already start to feel some calves and quads, hammies, glutes starting to shake. This controlled motion really, using proper mechanics is going to make those muscles work in a new way, instead of just going so quickly through the motion that we just skip a lot of phases, all right? So toes light, knee going forward is the first phase. Next phase is just feeling how that shin will rotate, okay? Now with this phase, you're gonna notice that that pressure through your heel even changes. So when I'm back in this kind of starting position, I feel more pressure through the outer portion of my heel, so outer back corner. And now as I slowly start to transition, when my knee gets just above the heel, now I feel more pressure right in the middle of the heel. And as my knee starts to go forward, now I'm looking for more pressure at the front inside portion of my heel. So it's almost like a diagonal line from that front inner portion of the heel to the back. And you should feel your weight slowly transition along that line, okay? So that's all I want you to focus on right now, is feeling that weight through the heel, slowly transitioning, feeling that weight through the inside front portion of the heel. Don't rush this, all right? Nice and slow, feel that transition. Couple cues here with this. So now that we're starting to get that movement going a little bit more kind of in and out with some of that rotation, we want to make sure the foot is still staying flat. So what I mean by that is when your knee comes back and you find that outer heel, it doesn't mean we want this toe to kind of roll off, and I see that very often. Now, if it happens the first few times, don't worry about it, but eventually we want to be able to keep that big knuckle of the toe down on the ground as we're back. And then the same thing but opposite, as our knee comes forward and we put more weight through the inside portion of the heel, sometimes I'll see people's feet on the outside rolling off, and that's usually because they're diving in too much with that knee, and so the foot is coming off. Goal is whole foot stays flat at the ball of the big toe, the outside of the foot, and the heel, all right? Last few things. Sometimes I'll see people where they don't even want to let their knee bend, so it'll look more like this. They'll almost just go right from here to bringing their whole body over, and they think they're bending the knee. But what I want is, once again, forget about the rest of your body. I want you to think all this motion is starting from the knee. So if I was to be behind you, think about somebody kind of karate chopping you at the back of the knee, and that is what is starting that motion going forward, is that knee bending. And then kind of let the rest of the body do what feels natural, as long as you're following those same principles of light toes, knee just going over the big toe, all right? Nice light toes and coming back, but make sure that knee is bending, and that's the first motion that is happening, all right? So go ahead, give this a try. You want to go slow. We're slowly adding in layers. I don't want you to worry about the rest of the body. We'll bring that in eventually, but right now your focus is on that ankle and really trying to feel that movement. If you have somebody with higher arches, a lot of times when you get this right, you'll start to feel more of a stretch through the arch of the foot, all right? And that's great. That's telling you we're starting to get those little bones of the foot moving and kind of flattening out. And then when you come back, they're starting to pop back into place. Popping and cracking is also normal. Any muscle spasms are normal, but take your time with this. Remember, stay loosey-goosey. If the rest of your body's tensing up, that means your foot is also probably tensing up. A few other things, if balance is an issue, hold onto a wall lightly, or maybe just bring a chair over so you can hold onto the edge of the chair, but really focus on staying as relaxed as you can, all right? Go ahead and give that a try. Even take a walk after you're done here. You will definitely notice a difference on one side of the body versus the other. It should feel definitely looser and like some more muscles are awake. So play the same video just for your other side. Give that a try, and please let us know if you have any questions.